Liam Bowen, head coach at UMBC. In this last video in this series, I'm going to go through how we program our pitchers in season, which obviously presents some extra challenges when it comes to regulating their throwing load and how they're used in games.
The first one over here on the left is probably the one that we use the most because it would be with a starting pitcher, whether it's our midweek starter or our weekend guy. And if you're having, or if you have, a guy on your team who's slated to throw once a week, maybe your league plays on Thursdays, and he's the guy who's going to throw all the Thursday games, this is what you would be looking at. And the decision with these guys is, do you want them off the mound once or twice during the week? I prefer twice, but at the same time, it's got to be up to the player himself. If the guy is telling you, look, one bullpen a week is enough, that's how my arm feels the best or what have you, I think you got to be respectful of that. We talked about previously in another video about off-season programming. It kind of follows the stoplight, red, yellow, green to a certain extent. The only difference would be here the recovery day in between a box, which is what we would call throwing off a mound, but at about 45, 50 feet versus a side, which is a full bullpen. And then you can see here how we would kind of structure things depending on how the guy gets off the mound. So this day here would be the day after he pitches in a game. So let's say it's a Saturday starter. This is Sunday. Monday, he would stretch things out. The yellow day program would mean the plyo throws and his drill work would be a little more intense, and then he would kind of stretch things out with long toss. A flat ground would be optional. If he goes on this path, he would throw a short box the next day, have a quick recovery day, get off the mound again, and then a little tune-up flat ground before he pitches again on Saturday. Over here, he would basically split up these yellow days, so he throws another one, but it's more of a flat ground emphasis, and then throws a little bit bigger on the side, maybe a little bit higher volume. If he was going to do that, once again, as a Saturday starter, this would be Wednesday. So if he was going to do it on a Wednesday, he'd probably have about a 35-pitch bullpen there, recover from that, tune up flat ground, and we'd go to work. And I won't go through every single one of these, but what you see here is all the different permutations of, hey, if I only have 6 days to get the guy ready, what does that look like? Well, it's probably only one time off the mound, 5 days. And then what happens if a guy doesn't pitch? Well, if we need him in 4 days, the next day he's going to throw a side. Then he's going to recover, he's going to tune up with a flat, and we're going to get him ready to go out there again. So if you're coaching pitchers, what I would tell you is making these plans ahead of time is incredibly important, and it saves you a ton of headaches and saves the players a ton of confusion when it comes to what they need to accomplish every day. This is something that can be posted in a dugout where even if you don't have the ability to communicate to every single guy what they're doing each day, which we do, we set out weekly plans, but maybe you're not in the same situation. Having this kind of structure, creating it, particularly during this time when we're all shut down or maybe over the winter in a more typical year or what have you, it's a huge help, and what it's going to do is it's going to give your guys a real clarity of vision and purpose when they show up to the field each day, and that's really irreplaceable in my experience. So I hope you found it useful. One thing is, I'll offer this to anybody watching this video. You can find me online. My email address is easy to look up. It's just bowen@umbc.edu. I'll send you any of this. None of this is secret. None of this is anything that's copyrighted. It's all stuff that just helps pitchers get ready and stay healthy, and I'd love to see it get to the widest audience possible. And it's something that's getting refined every year. So if you catch me in a year or two, we'll have some new things in here. But I think as a community, if we can all keep working on this and just keep trying to keep these guys healthy and available to pitch, our sport can only continue to grow and get better.
That wraps up this video series on how we program our pitchers. If you're watching these out of order, I really suggest you go back and watch the ones that you've missed, because it gives you an overall idea of how to set up a pattern for your guys to come to practice, know exactly what they're doing, know what the objective is, and keep them healthy and firing bullets for your entire season. So thanks for watching. Go Dogs.